everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to a special podcast today. Money Matters, a practical guide for students on saving, budgeting, and growing. Managing life is a life skill, don't you agree? It's not always taught in a classrooms, yet it plays a crucial role in shaping our future. Whether it's learning how to budget smartly, save effectively, or even start investing early, understanding the value of money is super essential. Today, we are here to simplify financial planning for students and young adults, giving you practical tips, building strong financial future for all of us. We are also going to explore how CFP professionals can guide you in making informed financial choices and even how some of you can actually might consider a big career in financial planning. And on that note, I want you to welcome Mr. Krishan Mishra, CEO FPSB India, who is responsible for strategy, operations, and overall market development in India. Let me give you a quick glimpse about him. He's got 20 years of experience in strategizing businesses and operations in financial services and professional education space. He's also known as a leader in the education world and has been awarded as a top 100 global leaders in the field of education. Over the last 2 decades, he has been heading the market development for various top global professional education qualifications in India and also various parts of the world. He grew up in a defense services family and has attended school all across India. And before completing his MBA in International Business Studies from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, he's also done PGDM from Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Ahmedabad. Also, a chartered manager from Chartered Management Institute, UK. Welcome, Christian. So good to have you in today's podcast.
Thank you so much, Amisha, and thank you so much for the warm introduction. I look forward to this interactive session today with the students. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Krishan. Just a quick background about myself. My name is Amisha Sethi. I'm the host of today's podcast, and I am the Senior VP Policy and Communication at FPSB India. Super excited to this podcast, and let's get started. So, my first question to you, Krishan, is why is it so important for students to start managing their money early in life? What are some common financial mistakes you think that young people make, and what do you think how they can avoid them?
Thank you so much for this wonderful question, Amisha. And before I get into it, I think it is important for them to understand that why are we doing this podcast today? We are celebrating the Global Money Week, which starts from today. It will be there till 23rd of March. So from 17th March to 23rd March, we celebrate this across the globe. Obviously, FPSB has been part of this since the inception. And we would like to ensure that youngsters and the students who are actually studying in schools and colleges, they're able to get more knowledge about their own financial education, their own life, what financial planning can do for them, how they can actually save, budget, and grow themselves for their future. Because when you start early, you are able to maintain and do better in your life at the earlier stage only, rather than looking at it at a very, very later stage when you have already lost everything. So the time for people to understand this important life skill is something which is part of this Global Money Week, and we are proud to be associated with this. And in fact, today is the day when students should actually think about why they should think about savings and budgeting. Now, let me talk about the budgeting part first before I get into saving. What is important is for us to learn that why budgeting is important, because budgeting is a very, very simple statement which talks about the income and expenses for any individual. However, if you look at the Indian households, only 27% of the Indian households actually prepare a budget. This is quite interesting. But then out of this, 92% of the people, out of these 27%, are the ones who actually stick to the budget. So which means that once you have formed that discipline, you actually stick to it. For the students, when they get their pocket money, it is important for them to put that as an income for themselves and then look forward to the expenditures, whatever the expenditures they do, and note it down wherever they can. If they can use a diary to do note for themselves and keep on tracking what is being put there and what expenses have gone out, at least they'll be able to save some money out of it and then look forward to growing it for their future. Because see, once you're able to bring this discipline at a younger age, you are able to do much better for yourself. I'll tell you, when we were young, it was very difficult for us to get a lot of pocket money. It was those were the days when salaries were pretty low for our parents and our grandparents, etc. You know that In 70s and 80s, people actually used to earn in hundreds, right? And then they started earning in thousands, and from there to lakhs to crores. But then for the students now who are actually studying right now, their parents must be earning a good amount of money, and they might be getting a good amount of pocket money for themselves. So right time for them to think about this particular discipline, plan for their own savings, and then how the saving can be planned is that whatever income you get, that is your pocket money you get, and whatever expenses you have post getting that income for yourself, whatever is the leftover amount, it can be used as the saving. And once you start saving and keeping it, say, you can actually form a discipline by keeping a piggy bank for yourself. Or maybe you can ask your parents to help you get a minor account. Nowadays, minor accounts are pretty possible. If you are below the age of 18, you can very well go to a bank and open a minor account for yourself with the support of your parent. And once you become major, obviously the account would be transferred directly to you. Till that time, it is important for you to actually talk to your parents and say that, okay, out of my pocket money, I feel that my expense would be, say, 50% of that. Why don't you put 50% towards my saving, right? Majority of the times, we are not able to understand this. What we do is that whatever comes to us, we immediately spend, thinking that, okay, tomorrow, whether I'll have money or not. Remember that money is something which will keep on coming to you. It's a byproduct of whatever efforts we make. So what is really very important for us to actually start talking to our parents about our finances at a younger age. In case your parents are not doing it, go and ask them. Okay. Talk to them about what they are doing in their lives. And in case they are facing any difficulty, you go and educate them if you get the right education for yourself. Remember, financial education at a younger age, at the school level and the college level, can actually help you make your life much better. And it is practically not about just managing money. As Amisha, you rightly mentioned, it is about managing your life. And when you actually think about managing your life at a younger age, you're able to create a very strong corpus and a very strong future and a very strong legacy for yourself as well as your families in the long run.
Absolutely, so well said, Krishan, and I can't agree more with you. Even if I look at my childhood, there was time when I was in grade 11th and 12th, and I actually used to pretty much spend all the money that I used to get from my parents. But then one fine day, my father did tell me that what's going to happen if I stop giving you any money, and what's going to happen, and that got me contemplating that what's going to happen, and that's when I started tracking in one of my I write a lot in a diary, and that's when I started tracking all my expenses. And I realized that there are a lot of expenses which are not needed. It's basically, there are certain unnecessary expenses that we make, and if we get mindful of that very early in life, as you rightly mentioned, I think at least your awareness can take you far, can take you ahead. So that brings me to another question for you, Krishan, and I'm sure students and the young adults who are hearing us today would love to know any practical trip to to track and control unnecessary spending, or any kind of tip and trick that you have. Like, I know there are a lot of apps available, but can there be a simpler way, an effective way to have a budget for yourself? Like, imagine a young student having a budget that, okay, this is my budget for the month, and this is my limited income that I'm getting from my parents. And let's say if they start earning, because in today's world, a lot of students are also earning alongside, whether by doing some kind of jobs, by doing participating in certain events. So students are also making money while they are studying. That culture is also coming up here in India. So what's your recommendation there, how they can have like a budget for themselves and track expenses and control unnecessary spending?
Yeah. And thanks, Amisha. I think it is really very important for the students to understand one thing, that whenever you get money, you get the urge to spend it. That's quite natural to any individual, right? And what we need to do is that we have to identify our expenses, divided into two parts. One is necessary expenses, second is unnecessary expenses.
Okay.
Necessary would be like, for example, you have to obviously go and have lunch. For example, at your home, due to some reasons, your parents, both the parents are working, and you are not able to take your tiffin along with you. You have to take lunch in the cafeteria in the school or the college where you're studying. And then obviously you have to pay for it. So that's a necessary expense for you. In case you're commuting and you don't have a car or a two-wheeler of your own, and you have to use the public transport, then obviously it's a necessary expense for you. But then happens is there are various unnecessary expenses that we do. Wherein, for example, we would like to show off to the friends that, okay, I'm taking you out for a movie, or maybe I'm taking you out for a party, or maybe I'm throwing a party to everyone. So all those things are practically not necessary. What we have to understand is that something which is unnecessary has to be avoided. Obviously, if it is your birthday, you have to celebrate. Then obviously, go ahead and ask your parents for some additional money. But then otherwise, don't spend what you have saved. That's number one. Number two is that in case you are doing some internships or you're doing part-time jobs, okay, along with your college, when you have started your career at an early stage, what is important is that don't get into the trap of borrowing money or taking loans, etc. Because see, at youngsters also, and I can tell you that if you're a startup today, it's very difficult for you to probably get a loan from a bank. But when it comes to a youngster who's studying in school or college, it is easy to get a credit card also with the minor account, right? And if you do not know how to use it, then obviously you can get into that trap. In fact, it is said that if you have spent money from your credit card before earning your first salary, you take 20 precious years of your life to repay the same money, right? So 20 years in life is very, very important because once you have lost those 20 years, when will you save? When will you invest? When will you grow, right? When will you look at your own power of compounding for your future? It is said that if you start early, you are able to grow a larger corpus. So, for example, you start saving 100 rupees or you start investing 100 rupees per month during your school or college days only, say in a mutual fund. 20, 25 years later, you can actually look forward to a corpus of at least a crore plus for yourself, right? Which you cannot do normally, right? So if you start early, it becomes easier. On the other hand, say, for example, you start at the age of 40 and invest 50 lakhs into your corpus, and then you're thinking that, okay, in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, I'll get 1 crore. It might be very difficult for you to reach that goal. So starting early is the key towards the success for the future. That's number two, which is really very important. So one is obviously to identify your necessary and unnecessary expenses. Necessary have to be done, unnecessary have to be avoided. Right. Two is save and look forward to investing if possible. It's not about trading. It's not necessary for everybody to get into the stock markets. If you do not have the right risk appetite, and if you do not understand the market, don't go and invest your money, right? Whatever you have saved, small or big, doesn't matter. Go ahead and put it in the right place. And if you're not able to understand it, go ahead and talk to the right person, right? It is really very important. Most of the times, what we do is that we are not able to understand and we get influenced by people who are sitting next to us, who might have invested some money somewhere and made some money out of it. But that does not mean that they are the right people to give you the right guidance. So go to an expert when it comes to taking that help. Number three is get educated. Start learning about your finances from an early age. It is really very important as a life skill. If you want to make a career, obviously you have opportunities. We'll discuss later on about that. But what's really very important is to learn about your own finances, learn about budgeting, learn about saving, learn about investing for your future. And if you start early, I can tell you that you'll be very, very strong while navigating your life. Throughout your life, you will not face any difficulty because our life, your students, you're very, very young right now. You've not seen it. Our life is not a straight line. It has got lots of ups and downs. And whenever it's a up position or a down position, positive or a negative position, we need money. And if we don't plan for it, if we don't educate ourselves, we'll be in a very difficult situation. So bringing that discipline from an early age can ensure that you are able to do it much better. Don't depend on apps. Don't depend on somebody else. Just depend on yourself, your own gut feeling, and your own knowledge. Try to get as much knowledge as you can. You've got a lot of information available on various websites. If you're not able to get it, come to FPSB India's page. Like us, you'll get a lot of information about your finances on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Oh, well said, Krishan. I think this is so important for students to develop early mindful spending habits and differentiate between this very, these two important words, which is needs and wants. What you absolutely need and what you want. And there's this thin line of desire connecting these two words. So very important. And also, on that note, I do want to also mention and just add to it that understanding the value of not just money, but your parents' money is also very important because they work extremely hard to earn this money. So the respect and gratitude towards your parents' money will also inculcate the habit of respecting the hard-earned money that you would earn over a period of time, and that's the probably one of the fundamental steps towards managing your own finances better. Because if you have gratitude towards somebody else, hard earned money, you would have that for yourself too. So, okay, so that brings me to the next question, which is about higher education, the importance of financial planning in higher education. So how can students can start planning for their long term goals, like education, like if they want to go ahead and study in a certain college or a campus, or starting their own business as soon as they have stepped out of the college? What do you think? What is the importance of this financial planning education in early life? What are your views on that?
Great. Very, very important question, Amisha. And let me start with what you mentioned about need, want, and desire of the demand, right? And it's like when I'm thirsty, I need water, right? But what I do is that I look at a refrigerator and see that there is a water bottle kept inside it, and I ask for cold water, right? So that becomes my want. And then my demand is that I go ahead and ask for a bottle of Thumbs Up because I saw Shah Rukh Khan yesterday on television saying that, okay, if you have this Thumbs Up, you'll be a macho man. So that instant gratification is something which I want, right? And then I just go ahead and buy the bottle of Thumbs Up. Instead of drinking water, what I'm doing is that I'm actually drinking Thumbs Up. Financial planning is like having water. It is not about having Thumbs Up. It is about your need, right? And when we say need, it means that what is your need has to be defined. So as a student, your need is to get educated first, right? So if you want to get educated, obviously you have to look forward to your higher education, whether it is bachelor's degree, master's degree. In case you are looking at studying in India, obviously you'll have a set of expenses. If you're looking at going out of India and studying in, say, US or Australia or UK, Canada, anywhere in the world, right, you need to have a different set of expenses. What you need to do is that along with your parents, you have to sit down and talk, right, and discuss with them that, okay, Dad, what I feel is that if I have to go to, say, US, we need this much amount of money. And are we saving enough for the same, right? And your dad will tell you that, okay, I have already kept, say, an insurance policy for your education. I have kept this much amount of money for your education in mutual funds. I have done this kind of a saving, etc. And then you come out with the corpus that, okay, this is what is the expense which is needed, and this has already been saved, right? So what you have to do is that you have to define that goal. And once you're able to define, then you understand that, okay, what is the amount left over for me to reach there? Because it is not only about the expenses towards the college, it is also about you staying there, you getting the pocket money. You need to spend money on the various other things which will happen, including your travel cost and other things, right? So you have to take out money and look at doing that. Second is, in case you are looking forward to entrepreneurship and starting your own enterprise later on, start saving for the same at an early age, right? So I'll tell you that when I got my first stint with entrepreneurship, it was during my school days, wherein I saw that, okay, I used to read a lot of comic books in those days, right? And comic books were obviously expensive. It was like 7 rupees or 10 rupees, and 10 rupees in those days were practically expensive for us. And then what I saw is that there's a shop which gives you the same comic at, say, for example, 50% of the price. So I went there, I used to take it, and then I used to rent it out to my friends. So in that way, I started earning for my own savings, right? And that actually helped me learn entrepreneurship. If you are looking forward to entrepreneurship, start doing that from your school, college days only. Practically, a little bit, it can be smaller also, doesn't matter. But start doing that. And whatever you save out of it, keep it as a money for your own benefit. Number two is that define that goal very, very clearly, that whether it is entrepreneurship or your education or employability, whatever you're looking forward to, define that very clearly for yourself. Second point that you have to understand is that once you have defined the goal, you have to divide the goal into various smaller parts. I would say that, okay, this is what I would like to do in 3 months. This is what I would like to do in 6 months, in 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever timeline you have defined, to define those timelines and break it down, and then start achieving those smaller milestones on a regular basis. Once you keep on achieving them, it will help you a lot. Third thing, which is really very important, is set aside some money as emergency fund for yourself. You do not know what emergency can come at any point in time. So, for example, you move to US and you fall sick, and you do not have a health insurance. You need to pay for the medical expenses. Your parents are staying in India. There's no one to connect with them. If you have got those emergency funds with you, you'll be able to safeguard yourself during that situation. What is important is obviously to have the health insurance also. But in addition to that, if you have the emergency fund, it will actually take care of a lot of other things for you, right? And the number four thing that we have to understand is that as Amisha, you rightly mentioned about gratitude towards the parents, right? It is also about that gratification that we get, which a lot of people get instantly by spending money. Okay,
Correct.
avoid getting into that spending habit. Okay, that it's like doom spending that I would like to spend today and forget what will happen in future. Don't do that. Okay, keep that emergency fund, save, budget, and also define what is important in terms of your goals, in terms of your needs, in terms of your emergency funds, and in terms of how you can actually navigate and achieve those goals, create those smaller milestones. I'm sure you'll be able to do a much better thing for yourself and your parents too. You'll actually make your parents proud by doing this for your future and their future.
Absolutely, so well said, Krishan, and that brings me to a very important part of our discussion today, is what role a CFP professional can play in this early part of a student's life, and how. So it's a two-part question, Krishan, and I would love if you can answer both the parts together. Is one part is about how a CFP professional can guide you very early in your life, and the second part is that what about the students, what about the young adults, what about the youth of India who are actually looking forward to create their own niche in the financial services sector, a career in financial services. How can they become, what is your guidance to them about building a strong financial education, financial planning education foundation, and actually the ones who are and CFP professional, become a CFP professional over a period of time. So, yeah, these are two-part questions, and I would love you to answer both the parts for us today. Yeah.
Thank you, Amisha. And it's a very important question. Students, for your knowledge, a certified financial planner professional is a very ethical and integrity-oriented professional who is a trusted advisor for your life. He or she is not here to sell you any product. He or she is here to educate you towards your finances, depending on your needs, depending on your goals in life. And as well as the risk appetite, they give you the right guidance. Now, like a doctor, right? You know, a doctor's job is obviously to give you the right consultancy for your well-being. It is not about taking that, I would say, the precautionary measures later on, or being reactive to your bad health. It is more about taking those preventive measures, right? And taking care of your well-being at the early stage, right? So what a financial doctor or a CFP professional will do is that they will tell you that how to navigate your life better. In fact, our CFA professionals, Amisha, are going to the schools, they're going to colleges, to universities, and talking to the students at large, giving them the information about their own life, their own needs, their own, I would say, the goals in life, as well as how to actually navigate them based on their risk appetite. In fact, some of the CFP professionals recently did some sessions in some of the universities, which I'm aware of, wherein they spoke about how you can actually create a portfolio at a younger age and manage it for your better life tomorrow. Right. So that's the job of a CFP professional. Our CFP professionals are very much committed towards ensuring that each and every individual in this country gets educated towards their finances. And that's really very important from a younger age itself. And that's something which they have taken as a pledge. Because if we are able to help one individual, we are able to help one family. Right. And if we are able to help one family, the society and economy automatically grows. In a similar way, for the students, if they look forward to this as a career, it's a very noble profession. Noble in the sense that as your teachers are noble, as the doctors are noble, in the similar way, CFP professionals are very noble. As I said, that if they impact the life of an individual, they can impact the life of a full family. And think about it, that if one family is happy because of your support, because of the decisions you have taken, or the support that you have provided them towards taking the right decisions, you can actually practically look forward to making their lives much better. And once you're able to do that, you are actually in a profession which is a very noble profession. Now, this profession is such that wherein through education, right, once we educate people, we empower them. We say that once we educate people towards their finances, we actually empower them. And once we empower them, we help them either get into an employment opportunity or else to start their own practice. The beauty of the CFP certification is that once you do this, either you can get employed in the industry or else you can go and start your own practice as an entrepreneur. And both of them are doing well. In fact, we have got more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs. So the demand for this certification is very high and supply is less. And students, I'm sure if you're studying economics, you know that if the demand is high and supply is less, you can actually command premium. And in the similar way, the CFP professionals are in the position to command premiums in the market. They can actually ask for more salaries, and better incomes for themselves. And then the second thing is that in case you feel that, no, I'm not interested in getting employed, I would like to start my own enterprise, you can very well go ahead and start your own financial planning practice, which is very much possible. I can tell you that globally, Amisha, we have got 230,648 plus professionals who are working, which means that 230,648 plus professionals are working globally. And India, we have got 3215 plus professionals, 3,215 plus professionals who are working. 50% of them are actually practicing and 50% are employed. And when I say practicing, they earn more money than the people who are employed. So the career opportunities are tremendous. I can tell you that last year, India created around more than 46.86 lakh jobs in the field of financial services, as per the National Career Services data by the Government of India. And only 27.5 lakh jobs were taken, which means that more than 18 lakh jobs went vacant. And these jobs did not go vacant because the jobs were there and people were not there. People were there. People were not able or capable enough to pick up those jobs. So that's the reason why CFP professionals are in demand. They have got the right capability and ability.
Krishan, I think what you just mentioned is amazing, and just that brings me to the point of personal finance. We keep talking about sometimes, like, and sometimes when what happens is, especially in your when you are in your college and school, you think that finance management is all about corporate finance management. It is all about accountancy. It is all about debit that comes in, credit that goes out. That's all about balancing the balance sheet and so on and so forth. But personal finance in itself is a huge area, and that gives the importance to the individual. And as you rightly mentioned, that it's like a life skill. So, any views about personal finance management? If you can talk about what is personal finance management and how is it different from overall finance management, specifically for the corporate, so that the individuals and students who are listening to us, they also understand the difference between personal finance versus corporate finance.
Sure. Thank you, Amisha. I think this is a very, very relevant and important question. Uh, Let me start with this thing that a lot of people actually confuse between accounting and finance. So there's a myth that accounting and finance are same. They are not. Yeah. Accounting is more about looking at your financial position on a particular date. Okay. And it is more of a backward looking function. Finance is practically a very much forward looking function because it is about getting money. It is about managing money. It is about growing money. And growing money for whom? For all the people who are associated with you. Right? So you cannot think about any business, any enterprise around this world without finance. So finance is needed before accounting, during accounting, and after accounting. So all three levels finance is required. However, what we say is that when we look at the finance in the education system, it is more, as you have rightly mentioned, it is more about the corporate finance, which is about the organization. When we talk about investments, it is about organization. When we talk about insurances, it is again about the corporate and the organization. When we talk about ensuring the succession planning, it is about entrepreneur succeeding the other entrepreneur, or the CEO succeeding the other CEO, or the manager succeeding the other manager. But then it does not talk about anything related to the individual. In fact, the risk management that we study in colleges, in MBA courses, etc., the risk management is pertaining to the organization, not the individual. In fact, this is the case which has been there for a very, very long time, though financial planning and financial planning has been there for a very long term in our world. It started from the traditional days of Mahabharata and Ramayana. If we go there in Upanishad, etc., financial planning has been mentioned there. In fact, the God also mentioned about it, that how to actually look at your emergencies and how do we actually look at savings, etc. Those were the days when things were in the barter system. Hope you remember, there were days when we used to do barter, wherein if you have got rice with you and I have got, say, wheat, we exchange it. So half I keep it and half you take it. And then obviously I manage my life with some wheat and some rice. And in case you have got vegetables, then I exchange it for the vegetables, etc. And all those things people used to do for a very, very long time. But then apparently what happened is personal financial management came into the being practically in the current scenario, in the current situation we are in the year 1973, when the CFP certification was started and people actually started talking about it. So the CFP certification, Amisha, has been there for around 51 years now. So it's a 51 years young profession. Why
Absolutely.
young? Because obviously we deal with students who are sitting here who are very much young. They are passionate, so we are also passionate. They are looking forward to a good career for themselves. We are looking forward to making good career for them, right? And they are looking forward to navigating their lives better. We are here to ensure that we help them navigate their lives better. So practically, this certification has been there for such a long time. Now, personal financial management is about managing your own life, managing your own self, right? Not anybody else. Because, Amisha, your personal finance is personal to you. It is customized to you. It cannot be similar to your sons or your daughters or your parents or your husband or anyone in the family, right? Each individual is unique and they need to have their own financial plan, right? And when we say financial plan or personal financial management, it is about saving, it is about budgeting, it is about protecting. When I say protecting, it is about insurance and retirement both, right? Then obviously it is also about creating a stronger legacy and planning when you're not there. Planning for whom? Your family, the future of your life, right? So you have to ensure that you're able to navigate all those areas quite well, right? And then obviously you can look at investments, which is growth of money. You can also look at insurance, retirement, and taxes, which is part of life. You can also look at creating those estate plans, which is really very important, and look at your own personal risk management. Because the personal risk management is very different from the business risk management, right? The business is impacted by the economical changes, by the political changes, by the environmental changes. In the similar way, we also get impacted. I can tell you that somebody, in say for example, in your school, your friend, every day comes to the school, say you're in class 12th or say first year in your graduation, and you find that this boy used to be very chirpy, very, he used to keep smiling. A lot of things were happening good for him. But then nowadays, he has stopped smiling. This boy does not participate in any of the discussions, right? Or maybe if you ask him that, okay, what is happening with you? And he will say, okay, everything is fine. Because most of the times when people are under some kind of a depression or some kind of a difficulty in life, they will never tell you the reality. They'll always say that I'm okay, I'm doing well, right? Then what is really very important for us to, as friends, to go ahead and talk to this person and help, because this person actually needs help so that this person can come back to the same place where he or she was, right? So it is really very important for us to understand that if somebody is struggling somewhere in life, we need to help them, and personal financial management is about that. I can tell you that, Amisha, people actually get distressed because of the financial stress. There is no other reason, right? And if they are able to get educated at the early stage in their life and they're able to navigate their lives better, they will never face that distress throughout their life, right? In case something comes, they'll be able to navigate it because they have got the right emergency fund with them.
Okay.
Always remember, your plan, your life is unique. Don't compare yourself with anybody else, right?
Okay.
If somebody else has done well with something, that does not mean that you will also do well with the same thing. You might do well with something else. Define your own race, identify your own areas of strength, right? In case you have got some weaknesses, always remember that our weaknesses are overdone strength. Something which we do more becomes our weakness. So always remember that, keep your strength alive, keep working on the strength, but don't overburden yourself. Don't get into a situation wherein your strength becomes your weakness, right? So it is really very important to identify them and keep it to yourself. No, don't look at anybody else. Don't look at anybody else's life. And that's why personal financial management is about individual. It is not about family. It is about one person, and one person has to take care of the rest of the family through their own efforts. So, as students, you can start doing it. If you take this education today, go ahead and talk to your parents, tell them about what you have learned, right? Talk to your friends who have not been able to attend this, and talk to others. Give them that knowledge so that you are not only able to do it well for yourself, you are also able to make somebody else's life better. And that's what we are here for as professionals, as individuals, to make everybody's life better.
Absolutely. Yes, Krishan, so well said. And so important for us to understand that you can probably inherit wealth, but to managing of it is so personal and very, very important. I think this was a fantastic session, and it was amazing learning a lot of new things from you, Krishan, this time as well as always. I have one final question for you, which is about any final advice that you want to give to the students as a part of Global Money Week? We are talking about, see, managing money may not be, just about managing money, let's say, from India perspective, or let's say from US perspective. An individual, a student who is studying in India, will have similar kind of aspirations and goals. So would somebody would have, say, sitting out of US, or let's say Europe, or whichever part of the world. So we are not differentiated in terms of our goals and aspirations depending upon which country we belong to. And this final question is about what is your final advice for globally, to the youth, not just restricted to the youth of India, but globally. What is your final advice for the youth?
Thank you so much, Amisha. I think today is a very, very auspicious day, considering that we kickstart the Global Money Week. Students and youngsters, I think it is important for you to understand that financial education is the prime thing for all of us in our life. We could not get it because there were no precedents. There was no one to teach us. You have got an opportunity. Please go ahead and ask your teachers that we would like to get educated towards our finances. Can you help us out? Right? Talk to them. Use some of the games, have fun while learning about finance. You can use Monopoly as a game in case you wish to learn more about how you can actually manage finances. It's a very, very interesting game, right? There are various other games which have been created. Use them for your learning. Make learning fun, right? And keep on learning. Remember that learning should never stop. And when it comes to finances, you will learn newer things every time because the regulations and compliances and the financial products in the market will keep on changing. The other thing is that if somebody is coming to you and giving you a very, 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 very lucrative offer, avoid getting into that trap, because any lucrative offer which is beyond the normal is a trap practically, right? And you might lose whatever you have saved or earned in your life. So it is important that never get into that kind of a trap. Always remember that you will get the justified returns in the justified time, right? Justified returns in the justified time. And the last thing which I would like to tell you is that never use your short-term funds for your long-term sustenance, and never use your long-term money which you have saved for your life, right, for your short-term goals. It is important that you keep your short-term goals and long-term goals separate. Short-term goal can be that, okay, I would like to go on a holiday next year with my family, right? That is a short-term goal for me. And never use your long-term saving for managing that short-term goal. In the similar way, if you have to go for higher education 5 years later, never use your long-term money for the same, or the short-term money for managing anything which is not required for you at this stage, right? So something which you need it after, say, 10 years, 15 years, keep that separate from the normal. And then remember that your parents are your guiding force. Whatever they have done for you, you should be thankful to them. As Amisha had mentioned, that it is about having that gratitude, and ensure that you are able to save, budget, as well as protect what they have earned for you and for your life. And once you're able to do that, you'll do much better in your life. Gratitude will make a lot of difference to your life and to everybody's life, whether you are in India or anywhere in the world. Time for us to ensure that we give the right gratitude to our parents, because we talk about money because of them only. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Krishan. This is a wonderful session, and thank you for taking out your time. Thanks a lot, everyone. It was. I hope this particular podcast is, even if it brings one fruitful tip for you, we'll be highly grateful. And thank you so much. And we look forward to the next podcast in the series. Thanks it all. Thanks. Thanks a lot.